and welcome to In the Park, your go-to show for the most riveting entertainment and latest news here at Lincoln Park Performing Arts Charter School.
We're your hosts. I'm Eli Lishak.
And I'm Camille Kerr.
Today we're coming at you from the park, sort of, and it's really hot.
Hopefully we'll be in the studio sooner rather than later, but for now it's pretty good to be outside.
We're showcasing our segment, Tapping into Talent, which features our students doing artistic activities outside of school.
Let's start with our first feature from Caleb Knox, giving us an in-depth look at the world of esports. What's esports? Well, you probably have heard of video gaming. This is Caleb's take on esports and how it'll have a future here at Lincoln Park. Caleb?
Esports started out as casual video gaming between friends, but it's turned into a $500 million industry with tens of millions of fans around the world. It has even started making its way into colleges and high schools here in America. As our school grows, the idea should be considered, does esports have a place at Lincoln Park? Most students play video games as a form of entertainment or as a stress reliever, but that's changing with collegiate esports. Every year, more than $16 million are given out in scholarships across the nation to aspiring esports players. The games most colleges are offering scholarships for include Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and many more emerging games within the scene. Fundraising esports events often have a high turnout, which greatly benefits not only the club but the organization as a whole. We'll be talking to Ms. Laura St. Onge, the esports and academic advisor for PA Cyber's esports team.
What do you think are some key attributes for running a esports program like yours at PA Cyber or at other schools?
I think one of the main key attributes for running an esports program would be content, for instance. So many esports programs need content to present to the students that shows that esports is not only for fun and excitement and kind of like a socialization kind of thing, but you also gain various skills along the way. The content that you present to the students could be anything, such as team building strategies, various exercises and health skills, how to maintain nutrition and health while you're playing video games, especially for a competitive scene. Advocating for the esports, since esports is fairly new, there's still some stigma with the esports, especially coming into the high school grades, even middle school and elementary school. And then there's also other interests such as shadow casting. So for students that are interested in doing like news reporting for sports, but they want to go into the esports field, that's definitely something that's starting to kind of be incorporated into colleges, especially for their curriculums. And so I'd like to present that kind of content to our students, especially for our seniors and juniors that may be going into that.
Why do you think the newer generation of students that are coming into school are excited about esports?
I think one of the big things is the recognition that esports is a sport. A lot of students that I've heard, both in my past with substitute teaching and regular teaching, to now, they all kind of saying the same thing where, oh, you can play video games as an athlete, as a sport. And I think that's one of the things that they start to realize, and then they get really into it. Very recently, over the last, I think, year and a half, I've seen esports being shown on ESPN. I've seen esports being shown on Disney when they show various sports, especially with Overwatch. They had a deal, I think, last year or the year before with Overwatch League. And so they were showing the games on TV, and I never thought I would see that game on TV.
Yeah.
And so this is definitely making students more excited, and they're beginning to realize that the games that they love to play casually on their own is going towards that competitive scene. So various games could include like Minecraft survival game is starting to get more into that competitive scene. I know my students participate in tournaments with that. Same with Overwatch. There's also the classics such as League of Legends, Dota, and a lot of students see this. So I think they would definitely jump on the chance of being able to participate on a sport team and realize that they're playing video games and that's what they love to do, and they're becoming an athlete.
What was the main difficulty of trying to convince your peers that esports is a club and should be taken seriously, at least at your school?
I think the main difficulty was teaching everybody about the logistics of it. How will we monitor the students' participation and behavior, especially coming from a cyber charter school compared to a regular public school? Normally, in a regular public school setting, students and teachers will have their own computer lab. They'll be sitting meeting face to face. Whereas with an online charter school, that's very difficult. So what I have done is I have talked with our tech team about what options we would have available. We do a little bit of like a Google Hangouts as well for us, specifically for the cyber school. I also created a community server on Discord, and that's something that we use a lot, especially when we're meeting for team practices and team matches.
All right. Well, thank you, Laura, for being here with us today and sharing all this, great information with us. It was a pleasure learning from you, and hopefully we'll be able to have an esports program like yours be applied here for us at Lincoln Park.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
As esports becomes more mainstream, its viewership rivals those of standard sports. Estimates have shown that esports viewership is higher than golf, rugby, and even on par with baseball, according to Roundhill Financial. One of the most valuable features that an esports club would offer is the lessons it could teach in tech, especially for those interested in the broadcast industry. Live streaming esports requires commentators, graphics, and other technical knowledge that Lincoln Park's broadcast department teaches. We have the founder and head organizer of SMAC, Timothy Legenzoff, who has had a lot of experience shooting live broadcasts.
How many people operate the broadcast side of your events?
Sure. So the number of people we have operating our broadcast or our stream, they're essentially one and one. So we always have our main streamer, and so that's one person. They are basically running the actual like overlays and the active match. We'll also have a backup person, so that's two individuals. They'll fill in for them if needed. Also, kind of act as a liaison for the rest of the tournament, so that main streamer is not distracted. So really, the core operation of the stream is two people. However, there's other people that I would still include in that number just because of what they do for that. So typically we'll have at least one TO who's also supervising the broadcast. So the workflow, if you could imagine, is really like 3 people operating the broadcast in total. We'll all help set it up, but overall it's one person actually running the broadcast, and then we have 2 people that are assisting them. So 3 in total, I would say.
How far in advance do you plan for these live broadcasts?
Sure. So we start planning live broadcasts pretty far in advance. So anytime we have a new tournament series starting up, which again, I mentioned we're in the process of starting a brand new weekly return to in-person play here with Team SMAC. So we'll spend for a new tournament at least a month preparing. That includes the logo, the overlays for the broadcast, making sure all of those are well polished, making sure the hardware is ready to go and tested. So we'll spend a good month for a first time event. After that, they're usually like weekly recurring series. And so we'll usually spend about a day, I would say, a day or two just preparing for the next weekly. It gets easier because you continue to run it week to week. You kind of learn what problems you have with the venue, what problems you have with your equipment, and you can resolve those basically within a day. I would also say that depends on how big your crew is, your team. We're fortunate because, including myself, there's 6 of us. And then we have a couple volunteers as well that help us out. So at our core, we have plenty of staff that are able to help us to prepare. So I'd say usually for a new tournament series, give yourself a couple weeks to prepare just to be safe. Larger scale tournaments, give it up to a month or more, depending how many people. If you want like 100, 200 people at your event, you're going to want to plan that longer. But if it's a weekly and you're already kind of doing it week to week, give it a couple days, make sure you have, all your ducks in a row, so to speak, and then you'll be good to go.
What are some valuable lessons you've learned while organizing events?
Sure. So some valuable lessons, I would say. The number one is communication. That's the most valuable lesson I've learned, is that whether you're a 2-man crew, a 5-person crew, 10-person crew, no matter what it is, you got to be able to communicate with each other and do it well. It is easy to get flustered. It's a competitive environment. Sometimes players will get frustrated, and likewise, I think TOs and broadcasters will also get a little bit frustrated. And if mistakes happen, like I said, you just kind of got to be cool, collected, and communicate. If you're having trouble or problems, just reach out to another person and communicate. So that's one of the valuable lessons that I've learned on the road. And I've streamed and I've also run from the TO side. And so that has been something that's been an issue, but also totally resolvable. And we get better because of that. So that's a lesson I learned. The second thing, if I could add to that as well, is be detail oriented. That's probably the second thing I would say. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts that go into a tournament and running broadcast. And the biggest thing that separates your tournament from all the others that occur, because there are a lot, is how much do you cater to the audience and your community? Are you doing what's going to make the most immersive environment for those competitors? Are you doing that, making sure that their good experience is key? If you do that and you're being professional yourself, there's no reason your tournament would fail. You know, it'll succeed, it'll do great. Just make sure that you're cognizant of all those little details. It does take time as well and experience, but totally worth it, and a big lesson that I've learned about separating yourself amongst the crowd.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure talking with you today. I've learned a lot, and I think these lessons would definitely apply for what we're trying to do here for Lincoln Park.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much for having me on and for this interview. I really appreciate the opportunity to discuss these things. And genuinely, I hope that at Lincoln Park, you guys can get a great program started, both tournament organizing and broadcasting. And if there's ever anything that I can help with in the future, or anybody on our team, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
With more accessible sports opportunities and a robust education and broadcast, it's certain that esports would make a great fit here at Lincoln Park. If you're as enthusiastic as we are, contact our school's administration about having the prospect of an esports club here at Lincoln Park.
Wow, we definitely need an esports team here at Lincoln Park.
Esports, more like Eli Sports. Yeah, that's right. Our esports league would hit it out of the park.
Okay, let's move on.
Now let's take a look at how students are expressing themselves through their art outside of school in our new segment.
Even with the difficult barriers placed in front of them, Lincoln Park students have still found ways to use creative outlets and continue working. Here's Taya Lee.
Hello, I'm your host, Taya Lee. Earlier this week, I met with Skylar VanWinkle for an interview. Skylar is in the writing and publishing department. She's published many of her writings over the course of quarantine, and she even won 2 awards. She's here today to talk a little bit about her work outside of school.
Hi.
So, Skylar, what inspired you to start publishing your work?
Well, we actually had goals throughout the department about we were supposed to get like 5 works published by the end of the year. Well, not published, just sent out for publication, whether or not they get accepted or rejected. So that was definitely part of what motivated me. And through quarantine, I had a lot of free time, so I figured it's best to try to get my work out there while I have the time to do so.
That's amazing. What awards have you won?
I won the Scholastic Silver Key Writing Award this year, actually. I also got first place in the Martin Luther King Poetry Award this year, and then my freshman year I got second place in the Martin Luther King Poetry Award.
Congratulations. So how did you begin to get your work published?
A lot of the work that I did get published, I actually sent out through Submittable, which is a website where a lot of publishers have options for people of all ages to send out their work. So that's about how I got every single work published, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in today and telling us about your work. Speaking of other students, Karen Hicksenborg has been auditioning for shows in New York. Even though the audition process was fully virtual, it hasn't stopped her. She's also being taught via Zoom lessons with professionals from all over the country. In the dance department, Ava McKellen has been teaching dance lessons. She started teaching hip-hop, jazz, tap, ballet at the AC Dance Academy in Chippewa Township. She's also been training and keeping up to date with her routines to keep herself active. In the music department, Brett Weigel plays for the Pittsburgh Youth Philharmonic Orchestra. He's been playing for the orchestra since 8th grade. He's a percussionist for the group. Dominic Petrucci led a group of filmmakers from multiple departments to enter into a film competition outside of school. With fellow students Molly Green, Madison Shoup, Kylie Mosley, Alex Boringer, Michael Malley, Dylan Blossick, Toby VanWinkle, and Brandon Marshall. The film Pan-demonium placed top 10 in the nation. You can find their film in the description.
This is so exciting! Get in! Do you want us to die?
Oh, come on, let's take a look around. I thought you want a bit of adventure, we'll be fine.
Not really.
Just go upstairs and check it out. I'll stay down here and keep an eye out in case someone comes home.
Pretty rad, right?
Where did all this come from? We were supposed to leave, not summon Satan. Not quite as rad, but here's what I found upstairs.
Oh, this is Pan's flute. I know him.
Yeah, a pan flute, not pans. Wait, who's Pan?
Pan, you know, god of nature, music, and goats, of course. I know what you're thinking. We should summon him to fix your lousy taste in music.
I'll pass.
Come on.
Thank you, Taya. And nice job producing that segment, Toby.
We'll continue to showcase Lincoln Parker's talents in future episodes. Do you hear that? God, it's coming. Oh no.
What? What?
It's Tino time.
What is up in the Park Nation? If you said the sky, then you're a funny person. I'm your host, Cameron Tino. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's get right to the news. Tino Time is your source for the wacky stories that Lincoln Park tries to sweep under the rug. Like, who was responsible for spilling red fruit punch all over the gym floor? It was Caroline Fawcett. Now, when people think of Lincoln Park, they think of drawing, singing, perhaps dancing, maybe a little acting. Some could say performing. One of those departments is pre-law and the arts department. Much of the curriculum involves holding formal mock trials, so when two students were having a feud, the pre-law department knew just what to do. Roll it.
Hey everyone, this is the very first media mock trial. Can you hear me? Good.
You're saying that America's choice would technically be King Kong?
Sure.
No further questions.
This includes throwing a prehistoric dinosaur over his back, which weighs 15,500,000 pounds.
His bones, which is probably not bone, but a new material, is completely very strong.
As you can see in the footage, these teens clearly have strong opinions about giant monkeys and lizards. If you added "and the arts" to the end of that, it could be an entire department. Giant animals and the arts, now offered at Lincoln Park. In other news, the Student Council has approved of an outdoor senior celebration event full of fun activities, like caricatures and live music. There were a few different themes to choose from for this event, including a music festival, a museum gallery, and garden party. Who would want to attend a garden party? What is this, Romeo and Juliet's wedding? Well, looks like the garden party won. Well, I guess I'd better go get an outfit together. Oh, I look good. I also heard it's BYOS, bring your own seeds. What was that? What? Senior? Oh, it's bring your own senior? Yeah, sorry, I can't. My grandparents will be out of town. Do you have any I could borrow by any chance? Hey, speaking of seniors, the class of 2020 was invited to their own celebration as well. But do they really even care anymore? That would be like graduating high school a year late. Oh, the last thing Lincoln Park is doing for the senior class is Senior Fridays. This is where only seniors get to go into school on 2 random Fridays. Wow, I am really jealous. Yeah. This next segment of Tino Time is all about sports. So, in honor of sports ball, I took the liberty of wearing my trusty old baseball cap. So for all you people out there who said I wasn't sporty, well, you're dead wrong. Play ball. A few months ago, when shows were being canceled left and right, sports performances got the green light to carry on. However, the question must be asked, how? Welcome back to In the Park, where this episode we got a bigger budget and now are in an actual park. I am just going to say it. It is an honor, and truly an honor to have you here, Coach B. It's one of my finer moments in life. I'm going to remember this for days to come. We are here in this beautiful park. You know what they say?
What do they say?
You know what they say?
Always sunny? No.
In Phil. Say it one,
Always
three.
sunny in Philadelphia. And at Lincoln
that.
Park.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. April showers, bring May flowers. I'm going to uncover this. And is this the ball or the hole? Do explain this to me.
That is actually the ball. That's quite a
No.
big ball, but yes.
Really?
Oh, unbelievable.
How big is it?
It's not quite that big.
I have a question about basketball. So, when people say nothing but net, aside from it being grammatically incorrect, are they going fishing?
No, actually, so the round hole that the ball goes in has a net hanging off of it because it's metal.
Are you sure?
Well, you know what? It might be something else beside metal. It might be some composite, but it's something that's hard.
Some element?
Yes.
I see what you mean.
And when it goes through that round spherical kind of thing, and it only hits net, that's nothing but net. But now the net can also be cloth. It could be nylon. It could be multiple things. But it's a swishing sound.
So where are the fish?
The fish are actually in the lobby in the fish tank watching what's going on.
No.
Honest.
There's no way.
Absolutely.
That is crazy.
Unbelievable, huh?
Do they know what basketball is? Now, let's steal that back. Now that is a propaganda piece drawn by an artist that accurately depicts the cruelty of a basketball. What are your feelings about this, Coach B?
You probably should have learned this when you were young. Little basketballs come from a stork drops off these basketballs. So you have big basketballs that grow eventually into this. But the big basketballs have little basketballs. And the stork delivers them down the chimney like you when you were born, how the stork delivers them. So we have little basketballs that are taught to dribble. And that's what their goal is, to dribble, to bounce. And they're happy with bouncing. So this actually doesn't depict what a basketball feels like when it's dribbled. That's what it's born and made to do, and they have fun when they are bounced.
Boom. There we go. Now, I practiced this one. As I'm sure you are aware, this photo has caused an uproar amongst the musical theater major community. Yes, it has. Posing accusations of bias due to the fact that your team can pose maskless and without social distancing for a photo, while musical theater majors couldn't even sing in class. Coach B, why won't you let the musical theater majors sing?
Listen, I'd be happy that they would sing. Personally, my personal opinion is, I would love to get them all together right like this and let them sing. I mean, this picture was taken after a huge victory by the Lincoln Park basketball team. And everybody had their masks on during the whole event, except the players participating. I actually wore my mask during the whole game, and after it, to celebrate, as the picture was taken, the photographer said, "Say cheese, everybody take their mask down." I think everybody has their mask off. Some people have it down there. But I wish the musical theater people, we can get them all together and they could sing. That was, and I wish the dancers could have danced, and I wish the theater guys could have did their theater thing, and you guys could have did your thing. We have a play plan, and our guys, they walk in the gym. There's a plan. You can look on our website for it. During the whole season, temperature check, filled things out. Everybody wore a mask except when you were participating. I wore a mask. All the coaches wore a mask. So that 2 seconds of a picture doesn't depict what we really did this year to help the school and prevent COVID spread. 0 COVID cases on boys or girls basketball this year. 0. So I'm very proud of that. And on a serious note, I think we did what we could do to make sure we were able to participate. And I think it worked out very well for the school. We won a WPIAL championship. Can't get any better than that.
And what is WPIAL? Thank you, Coach Basketball. And I will see you at auditions for the next season. I'm sure I'd look very good in one of those leopard costumes.
I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing all you guys. It was great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to Tino Time. Be sure to like the video if you want to see me perform for the Leopards next season. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Done.
Well, that was Tino Time, and there will be more Tino Time in our future.
Thank you for joining us in the park today. We're your hosts, Camille Kerr
and Eli Lishek. See you later.